The reason I invited Chief Foday to come on this morning is because he has a tremendous ebook that everybody should get, particularly here in the U.S., but around the world, that deals with the importance of the Gullah culture and how important that history is tied to us moving towards sovereignty. Chief Foday will explain what the book is about, which is very important, and it connects to the Race First work that we're doing, because we need to educate our people and to return to our roots, heritage, and culture in order to move forward to gain sovereignty so we can address the issue of the oppression of the Yurugu. We can't do it the other way. We can always talk about them, we can complain about them, but unless we do the work that we're called to do, we're never going to solve those issues and problems of the oppression. But we know to counter racism and white supremacy, as they call it, we need to raise up with race first and to move towards sovereignty, reclaiming Africa. So without any further ado, my brother Chief Foday will explain. He does a lot of things, but this particular work is what he's on this morning to talk about. It's important for people to get this book. It's very easy to get. It's a very powerful book that will educate us on some connections of practical Pan-Africanism, and that's where the topic is, scientific Pan-Africanism. Chief Foday.
Yes, greetings. Thank you. Thank you very much for the intro. I want to say, first of all, that if you can and you're out there, go get that scientific Pan-Africanism from our brother Baba Imhotep out of Baltimore, the Pan-African Liberation Movement, right? Because what we're doing now as leaders of the movement is bringing forth our intellectual contribution to the current struggle that's happening today. And it's very important to update the information and provide new analysis, even though we're dealing with the same Yurugu and we're dealing with the same basic contradictions from time to time. This is one of those times. So when we say scientific, what we mean is organized and objectively based, right? As opposed to unscientific or sporadic and subjective. And so this book that I'm offering as well, called Gullah Sovereignty, African Communalism, and the Mandane Kafu Model, is also a contribution to the reformation of Pan-African political philosophy. You understand? Because so far you'll find Pan-Africans all around the world, and we're using the philosophy of the enemy to rebuild our own communities and to address power relations. My book highlights the Gullah Geechee people of North America. We're a subgroup, a cultural group, an ethnic group of African Americans, just like you would say, for instance, the Creole community in Louisiana. We're distinguished by our language and our lineages, but at the same time, we do have a culture, and so there's something called cultural sovereignty that even the international world recognizes that all people have a human right to. And so scientifically and according to the law, we've been able to identify our ethnic group and put us into the position of a legitimate ethnic group like any other group in the world and organize accordingly. So this book here, I observed what's called the Mandane model, the Mandane Kafu model. The Mandane Kafu model was produced by the Mandane people of West Africa. The largest group of the Mandane people are the Mandinka, but there's over 100 groups, including the Mende, the Korenko, the Bambara. All of these groups are Mandane groups, and they organize themselves a certain way. They organize themselves for political and economic empowerment based on kinship, and they have a three-model system. So I go into this model system so that we can begin to look at it as a reference as we begin to put our families together there in the United States, there in Jamaica, here in Sierra Leone, all around the world where our families have been obliterated by a Yurugu system. So this book is contributing that aspect to it. The Mandane model, because this is the model that was the bedrock of the Mali Empire. Everybody in the Mali Empire was organized based on the Mandane Kafu model, which has a Lu, which is the extended family level of identity and political self. Then you also have the Dugu, which is the village level. And then you also have at the end the Kafu, which is the clan level. The clan level and kinship base allows us to identify ourselves based on our bloodlines and based on our villages, no matter where we are at in the world. And hence we're able to begin to operate outside of the sovereignty or the sufferation of our enemy. if we begin to go back to our roots and apply these models as we begin to have these race-first conventions, as we begin to have these Pan-African conferences, that we go back to our traditional greatness, not only in Kemet, not only in the Congo, not only in the Yoruba culture or the Akan, but also the Mandan culture, which I believe produced the greatest three civilizations in West African history, in the same place that you see the Sahel Revolution taking place today with the AES. So there is a revival movement also happening in West Africa involving sovereignty. And so this is my contribution.